Hello, this is Joseph Pupolo, and I'm here to talk about how to create your own video blog. So about a year ago, I decided to create a show called The Anything Show, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to get that going as well as I'd hoped. The main reason being, effectively, the format that I chose in doing multiple interviews is very, very difficult to coordinate not only my schedule, but the schedule of others. So fast forward a year and interesting things sort of happened. My daughter requested and asked me, how do you create a video on YouTube? So it was a rainy day. So we turned a rainy day craft into a really interesting project that she's gotten really interested in. It's her own web show, Anna's show. In about a month, the thing has grown quite rapidly, and she looked at me dead in the face and goes, "Daddy, you used to have a show. Why don't you do it anymore?" So I said, fair comment, put me on the spot. I need to get back to it. So what today I'm going to talk to you about is essentially 4 things that I've learned through the creation of my own show initially and through the work with my daughter's show, and really 4 tips to creating your own video blog. So let me just highlight lay all 4 points out to you. First of which, it really goes to motivation. Talking about the what and how you're going to engage your audience. Next is really building the tools around your blog to make sure it's successful, so people can see it. And then finally, the concept of consistency, because I think it's really, really key if you're going to build an audience to be consistent. So let's go to the first thing, is motivation. So Anna approached me a month ago, and she saw all these other kids with all their video blogs, and she was really, really intrigued and just naturally curious. She wanted to know how she could create her own show and share her thoughts and ideas on anything that she wanted to a wider group. And that was really the impetus for it. And then we began to build out all the tools that you need to actually take it out, as well as shooting the video. But for her motivation was pure curiosity, and could she do this and there. And then it became about, well, what does she actually want to talk about? So we would sit in front of the whiteboard, and she would throw out random ideas, and then that would become the basis of the show. The reason why I'm saying this is understanding the what and the why that you're necessarily doing something is a question of how you're going to reach your audience, how it's going to be impactful to them, and how you're going to reach them. So in her first episode, she did an episode talking about Beanie Boos. And Beanie Boos, for those who haven't seen, are these little stuffed animals that have these really eyes. They're kind of freaky, but she seems to enjoy them, and they're really popular. So once we saw, okay, how do we spread this episode around, she saw that there was literally thousands of videos, with tens of thousands, if not millions of views, with people looking at these little Beanie Boos. And it got her, frankly, really, really excited that other people were talking about it. But the point being is the what. Knowing what your show is going to be about and how to engage the people accordingly is really, really crucial. Is there an audience for your show out there? And if there's not, well, it really goes back to your motivation in doing that. If you really don't care and you just want to spread your message, then that's fine. But knowing the what it is and what you want to communicate to a set group of people is really, really crucial. I'm going to speak to the point going back to motivation. So she was just naturally driven or intrinsically driven to do the show. There's a lot of people, if you don't have the motivation in order to do that, you're going to set yourself up for disaster because it requires a certain level of regularity and consistency. There's some people that create shows just because they want to be famous or make money. But you have to determine what your internal motivation was. In the case of my daughter's show, she just wanted to have fun in front of the camera and share it with other people. She has a big, vivacious personality, and she wanted to share that with people and see if people responded. And naturally, a lot of people did. The next point I'm going to speak to is building some of the specific tools around the presentation of your show. So is you'll probably see in here I created a number of other ones using a very similar setup, but the quality in the video wasn't fantastic. And in this day and age, there's really no excuse not to create a high quality video. There's technology, there's all the tools of the trade in order to really allow you to have a high quality presentation value at really a low cost. So today, actually, we're testing out a new microphone, so hope you like the audio on this. There's quite a few people that came back to us in the early days of the Anna Show that just said, you know what, the audio quality is just not where it needs to be, and so we're testing out that new today. So let's go to the AV setup. You could use something as simple as your phone to shoot video blogs, but if you want to go a little bit better, like a dedicated camcorder, an HD camcorder, and now 4K camcorders that you can get, and a dedicated microphone. So what we're using today is a Sony Handycam in addition to a lavalier microphone, a lapel mic, allowing to, because the show is mainly focused on the audio of the voice, in order to pick that up. So that was the first thing. Then we take it and we put it into, there's tons of really good video editing softwares out there. Right now we're using Final Cut. Final Cut's really, really easy. The post-production is great, allows you to do some tweaking on both the audio and video, clean up some things. Editing really has become far less cumbersome than it has been historically, and you can edit it up and just clean up the rough edges on your video really, really quickly. Typically it takes maybe about half an hour to an hour to actually shoot the show with varying different takes, and then maybe even half an hour to cut the show, especially if it's just a single piece like this and you're not editing in multiple cuts. So anyway, those are some of the tools that we used in order to shoot the Anna Show and now this show. So once we got it into post and then put it up onto the web, the question really became to how we distribute the show. So in the early days of the Anna Show, and I say early days, it's only been a month, but let's say in the first week or so, we got some suggestions from some really great bloggers. So everyone probably knows Robert Scoble, world famous blogger, and one of his suggestions was for the Anna Show is the show really leads itself to high degrees of engagement. So make your the videos post on Facebook as the primary method of sharing the video, rather than, let's say, an embedded YouTube link that goes into Facebook. And the whole point being is you can achieve higher levels of engagement. If you achieve higher levels of engagement, then you can get a higher number of viewers involved in the show and commenting and sharing. So it becomes far more prolific. So that was the tactic that we took. In addition to that, however, what we did was we also added in just traditional YouTube sharing, and then we posted on a number of other forums. So the same content exists on multiple different platforms and really gets disseminated out to a different user base accordingly. So once we picked out the place of where we're posting and how we post it, and then it's the question of what additional tools do you need to support that post to actually get audience and engagement. So the first thing is obviously creating a Facebook page. I'm going to share really sort of, it's not such an insider tool, but if you haven't come across this online piece of web software, it's great. It's called Canva. Canva is a graphic design tool for those that don't necessarily have a graphic design on staff or are not graphically inclined themselves. It's a great piece of software, and even though I'm graphically inclined to be able to create stuff on other things, the great thing about that software, on the online software, is that it has great editing tools and all of the templates specifically for social media. So whether it be your Twitter background, Facebook backgrounds, YouTube backgrounds, all the appropriate sizes are already pre-sized and already laid out. So you can design all the different show graphics and everything that you want either to appear on your social media pages as well as within the video. So it's really, really crucial to giving it a professional look is to be able to take that information, put it all together, and really package it up in a nice way. And I find that's a really good differentiator from a lot of the video blogs out there, the guys that take the time to start doing the polishing. So once we did that, we polished up the pages, made it look really good. The next step after that was trying to disseminate it. So we did a number of different things. We invited people, we shared it, we also shared it out through our own social media feeds, and then we also shared it out through different networks and got different levels of engagement. So within Facebook, there's an ability to invite all of your friends, and what we did in the early days was we not only, my wife and I, invited all of our friends, but we encouraged a few other people just to see the basis of the viewership of the community. Because if you don't have a basis for seeing that, the 5 people, unless it's your mom and otherwise, are not going to like it and help it grow enough. You need to see that initial population of people that are going to like and share the content. And obviously it depends upon the content being somewhat good or usable. So that's how we did that. And I'll speak a little bit of the results in a minute, but we shared it out through LinkedIn, Google+, for those of you still using that. One of the other really good tools was using Reddit and subreddit. So we would look for secondary threads that were provided complementary threads where other people share videos similarly, and just got a nice little uplift on those one. So I'll share the results of the Anna show within the first month, and by no means is she a huge viral success, but I also think it's not insignificant. The first month, the show has had 5,000 views through Facebook and through YouTube. It's had over 400 likes on Facebook and nearly 400 new Twitter followers. So not insignificant numbers. It's something to grow, but in that time, she's been able to engage authors, CEOs, brands, and obviously because you have this cute little 5-year-old that everyone saying cute things, everyone wants to like it and share it and have that feed associated with her. So that was an unintended consequence, but it's been amazing to see, let's say, one of her favorite authors of one of her books reached out to her and wrote her an inspiring note. And that really feeds back into the concept of motivation that further motivates her in order to engage with other people and sort of grow that dynamic and speak to a larger audience. For the final concept is I'm going to speak to the concept of consistency. So consistency is utterly key if you're going to create a web show. Imagine any of your favorite television shows if randomly they just decide to stop making that show midway. You begin to get invested in something and they need the consistency. For those of you that are Game of Thrones fans, how would you feel, for example, if one episode had gone missing? And I'm not going to compare a web show to something like that, but the point still remains. You need to deliver a certain level of consistency so people feel that they're going to come back for that next piece of content, and hopefully in that time you're not going to turn off your audience and provide them with a reasonable piece of content that they find interesting and engaging, that they sit through and listen to. So in order to sum things up, it really comes back to 4 things. You need to figure out what your motivation is for creating the web show. You need to figure out the what and who you're going to engage with that show. You need to build all the different tools in terms of social media and all the things in order to build that early audience, to allow you to find niches and share. And then finally, you need to develop the discipline and consistency in order to be successful. I just want to give a shout out to Anna, who's a director sitting on this episode, and she very much encouraged me to do this show. And it turns about that sometimes your children encourage you to get back at things that you necessarily neglect. But I wanted to thank her for her encouragement in order to share this video with you as to how we created the Anna show, the early successes that we had, and some of the techniques and tools that we used. I want to invite you to feel free to ask any questions in the comments, or also subscribe to the show. Thank you very much, everyone.